defying the odds, doing things that others say you can't do, pushing your limits and seeing, well, something that only you could see come to fruition. I firmly believe that this is one of those great joys in life. One of those things that, well, only you can experience. And I had one of those moments last night, in fact. So I play local basketball, just at my local aquatic centre. But it's fun. It's not the level that I was in a very, very fucking different life. But I'm also not the same man I was when I played at that level. But I play because I love basketball. It has been one of my earliest and greatest passions for my life, is the pursuit of, well, the love of the game. So anyway, played on this team. This is the first year I've played for this team. Thought it was a good bunch of guys. Thought it'd be fun. And I thought we'd have a good shot. But overall, the season didn't play out our way. We had some rough ones. We had injuries. We had all those kinds of things. We went from, I think we could have a good shot at winning this, to, well, we're probably not even going to make the playoffs. And due to a technicality and the right games at the right times falling our way, we ended up in 4th. That in itself was a win. As I said, overcoming the odds. That in itself was fun. We got to make it to the playoffs. And from there, we played the number 1 seed. Undefeated the entire season. They expected to win. They expected not only to win, but to absolutely obliterate us. Their words. They told the organisers, they told the refs that they were going to blow us out. At half-time, we're up by 2. End of the game, we win by 3. Massive fucking upset. From the team that shouldn't have been there to winning and beating the undefeated number 1 team. That feels fucking amazing. There is joy in that cannot be expressed until you've put in work, until you've been the underdog and you've overcome. Then we progress to the final, and so we play the number 2 seed. They've only lost a couple of games. They're an excellent team as well. And we get off to a rocky start. Things aren't going well as we thought. I take an injury, tweak a quad. One of our guys gets fouled out. One guy ends up getting sin binned for 5 minutes and I have to go back on, playing with one leg. And yet somehow, against the odds, we win that game as well. To win the whole thing. From a team that shouldn't have been in the competition at all. Shouldn't have been in the playoffs at all, to winning the whole thing. Even the organisers, as they presented us our trophy, were like, it's not like I didn't believe that you could do it, but I didn't believe that you could do it. I didn't think you'd win against the Knights. I didn't think you'd then win again against the number 2 team. And here we are. And we won. And it came from, A, we believed in ourselves. B, we just kept showing up and doing the work. But the greatest joy, and there's a photo of me on it, on my Instagram at the moment. You can see the joy in my face. Not because we won. Winning's fucking nice. Like, who doesn't want to win? Who doesn't enjoy winning? But the joy and the satisfaction of that moment came from being the underdogs, overcoming the adversity, and getting the job done. To win and finish in something that we had no right being able to do. That is where that joy comes from. That is where that satisfaction comes from. And look, it's just a local comp. It's just a kickabout league. It doesn't mean anything. But the fun and satisfaction of life, the joy of those moments, comes from doing things that, well, others say that you can't do. Others say are impossible. Others who are small-minded can't fathom being able to do. That is where that joy comes from. And the same applies to chasing greatness. I've spent my whole life in pursuit of greatness, in pursuit of doing things that, well, people didn't think were possible. Doing things that people told me I was foolish to even dream about. And that joy and satisfaction of achieving it is unmeasurable. You have to experience it to understand it. But it doesn't mean you're always going to succeed, but I think the pursuit of something great, that's why it's called chasing greatness, the pursuit of something that seems impossible, or at least implausible, that seems that it isn't for you, that's something worth doing. That's something worth getting after. And that's where we want to be in life. And I've spent my whole life doing that. I was told that I would never make it in basketball. Look, I didn't make it as far as I wanted to, but I went a hell of a lot further than anyone else thought I could ever be. That joy and satisfaction and that belief from you, from inside, from you being able to do that work, to have unwavering faith in yourself. You know, I went and played college. I went and played for New South Wales. I did all those things that nobody thought I could do. And when my career was over, unfortunately due to injury, I then went and started a business at 21 with no idea what the fuck I was doing, no idea how I was going to make money. I just knew that I had a vision, that I always wanted to own my own business. I wanted to be a businessman. So at 21 years of age, I opened my gym. And if you know anything about small businesses, I think it's something like 90% of businesses will go out of business in the first year. Of those left, a further 95% of them will go out of business in the next 5 years. Here I am, 13 years later, still going strong, still kicking along, still making this dream a reality. And it's about defying the odds, defying what people said was possible. When I decided to start chasing greatness, that next phase, to get into the greatest fucking shape of my life at, well, 33. People told me it wasn't possible, told me I was dreaming, told me I was crazy, that I was obsessed, that I should just settle, that I should be like them. But that's not what's in me. That's not who I am. Nor do I think it's who you are. And so I proved them wrong. Here we are, a full year later, in great fucking shape. The best shape I've been in my life, and I'm planning to make 34 an even better year than this one. I'm planning to push even further forward. I'm planning to see how far I can truly take this life. Just through effort, through commitment, through follow through. I want to see what's plausible when you go all in, when you have that unwavering faith in yourself, when you go from the underdog to the champion. And to be honest, for most people who are going to undertake chasing greatness, who are looking from the outside and wondering, my gut feeling is you're like me, and you will be underestimated. You will be told that, well, you can't do that you will fail, that it will not work, so why even bother? And in those moments, you also need to remember for yourself that most people don't want you to try. Most people don't want you to succeed, let alone try. because it reflects negatively on them. If you come from the same place as them, if you have the same opportunities as them, and you make it, it shows that they just chose not to. It shows that it wasn't the circumstances. It wasn't where they were in life. It wasn't where things had gone wrong and this is just the hand that they'd been dealt. No, it was their choices that had led them to this moment and has kept them in this space. It's why most people, even sometimes through kindness, quote unquote kindness, will tell you not to bother, to tell you not to try, to tell you that it's safer to just let it be. It is safer. They are right. It is easier to just exist. It is safer and simpler to just never try, to never push yourself, to never challenge yourself, to never be the underdog. It's a much easier life. It's a much more boring life. It's a much sadder life. It's not even a life, it's just existing. It just is. Or you could push the boundaries. You could push and see who you could be. You could lay yourself down at the feet of a challenge and see how far you can reach. To see what you can overcome through persistence, through grit, through determination, through focus of will. To just see what is plausible. And this is where we want to take it. This is what we want to do. This is the point of life. And the sweetness of life comes from the underdog. Everybody fucking loves the underdog story. Because the underdog is, well, you. The person that nobody expected to win. Nobody expected to be able to triumph. Nobody expected to be able to overcome. And then they do. That's why we love a great underdog story. That's why we love pushing them forward. And that's why we love to watch them rise. And oddly enough, in Australia, we also love to watch the mighty fall. We got a bit of tall poppy syndrome. And you'll have to deal with that too. That when you do succeed, and when you do overcome, and when you do become that guy, they'll try and cut you down. Because, well, you succeeded. As I said, you broke through. You shattered the illusion that, well, it just wasn't for people like us. Well, it is for people like us. They just didn't choose to do the work. They didn't choose to follow through like you are. They didn't choose to do what was required. That's the difference. That's the separator. And that's how you find out what you really have in the tank, what you are really made of. When you go in as the underdog story and you overcome. And I can guarantee you, if you enter Chasing Greatness, you will be the underdog. Because this isn't like anything else you've done before. This isn't easy. It's simple. It's simple as fuck. It's really straightforward. I can write it down on a one-page picture. Every day, you do a weighted workout. Every day, you go for a weighted walk with 10% or more of your body weight. Every day, you take a daily photo. Every day, you eat an animal-based diet. Every day, you drink 4 liters of water for 126 days straight. That's it. It's simple as fuck. Ain't easy, but it's simple as fuck. And you will enter this as an underdog. And if you continue and you follow through and you stick to the plan, you will rise as a champion. You will become a different man on the other side. We've spoken about it before. You cannot become the man you need to be to finish 126 to greatness while continuing to be the man who you were. You must shed that skin. You must let them go. You must, well, kill the old version of you to become the greatest version you can be, to pursue your greatness. And then you keep pushing forward. But the joy and the satisfaction you feel when you enter that as the underdog, because I firmly believe that the majority of people in your life will not believe that you can do it. I believe you can. I believe you can if you're serious. If you're here watching this with me, you must be at least a little bit serious. So I believe that you can do it. I believe that you commit and you are held accountable to the standards that I will hold you accountable to. Yeah, you can do this. You can fucking change the game. You can set a whole new standard for yourself and all those around you. You can be the greatest version of you. And look, where your underdog story takes you and where the triumph leads you will vary. It'll depend. It'll depend on where you want to end up. But as we've spoken about before, that foundational level that builds everything else is that physical component. That's where it starts. That's where we begin with, that physical component. That you must do that first, because that builds the grit, that builds the determination, that builds the follow-through, that builds, well, the consistency and the skill sets that are required to go from underdog to champion, to go from the people that bet against you to you smiling in victory. And you'll have microcosms of this, because sometimes you'll doubt yourself, but the joy and the satisfaction of life is in the overcoming, is in the toppling, of doing something impossible. And you'll face that consistently in chasing greatness. You'll face it over and over and over again. Because, well, that's the whole fucking point. It's meant to challenge you. It's meant to push you outside your comfort zone. It's meant to see who you could be if you went all in on yourself. It's meant to test you, well, your cojones, to see what's plausible, what's possible. And then to find out what was impossible and now is doable, purely through grit and determination and consistency. That's the whole fucking point. But you'll be faced with workouts where you think you can't handle it, and then you do. You'll be faced with weighted walks where your body's screaming at you to quit, and you don't. You'll be faced with all these moments where there might be no one else to see. There might not be anyone else who will ever know. But you have overcome. You do the work. You pushed forward and made it a reality. And, well, shit, that's the joy of life. Those are the moments that allow you to look back on and go, that was worth it. That moment was incredible. And you won't remember exactly the wins. You won't remember all the moments that you overcame, but you remember the feeling. You remember the joy. And I think the pursuit of that feeling of overcoming, of crushing obstacles that should stop you, that should halt you in your tracks. Oof. Man, is that enjoyable. Man, is it a different experience. As I said, if you can find the photo of us winning, I've got an ear-to-ear fucking grin. And yeah, it didn't mean anything. It's not like we're playing in the professionals, we're not playing NBA, it's not for the world championship, it's not for a gold medal. It was for $100 at the local brewery and, a shield. But the joy of overcoming, of doing something that literally no one but us thought we could do. That's satisfaction. And I think the more we pursue things like this, that bring joy, that bring satisfaction, that bring the skills of overcoming in areas that, well, people don't think you can. As I said, building a great physique, building a business, building a life of greatness. You're going to have naysayers and you will have doubters and you'll have people who will question you. And all you have to remember is that you believe, that you know it's fucking possible, that you know that you can continue to follow through, that you can continue to do the work, and you will overcome. That I think is worth doing. That I think is worth pursuing. That I think that is something that will bring a different level of satisfaction and joy to your life. And just because you've never done something like that before doesn't mean that you can't start now. Doesn't mean you can't begin right here, right now. Because you can. You can begin in this moment. You can start overcoming with chasing greatness. You can start going from the guy who doesn't have his shit together, who doesn't have grit and determination and discipline and focus, to, well, building that skill daily until it's undeniable, until you are undeniable. But it starts with that first choice. It starts with that first moment of courage, that first moment of belief in you, that you can do this, that you can be this, that you can be that guy. And it is hard. And it does feel impossible, but you can be that guy. You can do those things. You just have to believe. So if you're ready to take that first step, if you're ready to be that guy, shoot me a message. Let's get you into Chasing Greatness Daily. And let's see who you can become. How we can take you from the underdog to the champion. How we can take you from where you are to chasing your own greatness. Now, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, as always, if this spoke to you, if you enjoyed it, if you know someone else who needs to hear this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, hit that subscribe button because, well, it helps me, it helps you, it helps the universe know that you're a man who's serious about chasing his greatness, about becoming the greatest version of himself. So hit that subscribe button because, like everything in Chasing Greatness Daily, I am here every single day. Rain, hail, or shine, no matter what. And I'll be here again tomorrow, and I want to see you then. Until then.